This is the #1 potato boss, bringing you the MogPod Podcast #4, Buried by Lightning. This is the fully dedicated Final Fantasy TCG podcast, and let's get straight into introducing our cast. To my right, I've got Jared.
Hello.
And we got Chris.
Hello.
Kevin can't make it because of logistical issues.
He's stuck far away.
Yeah. But let's get straight into it with our card of the week.
Woo!
And as you may have noticed, it's going to be Lightning.
This is the Opus IV Lightning, the legendary one.
That's correct. So let me just read out the text. So Lightning is a 5-cost, 7,000 power forward. She has haste. When Lightning enters the field or attacks, choose one forward opponent controls. If you control a category 13 character other than Lightning, dull it. And the ability is discard one card named Lightning, remove Lightning from the game, then play Lightning onto the field, dull.
Very interesting. She's got like a special ability that isn't a special ability.
Yeah.
It's very strange. Do we know why that's why she's formatted that way?
I think future proofing.
Yeah.
There's gonna
when
be
they print another 7.
So like something we're expecting at some point, like a card that says special abilities can't be activated or something. It's kind of like what the Emperor does, but more specifically targeting specials.
Yeah. There's gonna be a specific card like that.
Because we don't want Kamari copying this.
I suppose
Rod's a rage is too open.
Yeah.
I mean that's actually one. He can't copy that. Yeah. All right.
But also we were talking about 7. 7 can only snake bite special abilities and ETB,
auto abilities.
Auto abilities, yeah.
So the reason that you might want to remove Lightning.
Well, I guess so. Yeah.
I mean, if you're removing her to protect her, she's not going to stop that. But 7 will stop the dulling if you don't want that to hit you.
It's just they put in a kind of proviso of the 13 character, but it is a character.
Well, it's not so hard. There are quite a few 13 backups, and there's even one there are 2 that can find Lightning.
Well, it's because they said in the blog when she was spoiled that it's flavor reasons, because in the game she pops in and out of the timeline to help the main characters, and so she'll only come and help if there's one of her friends that she's come to help. I mean, it's not full flavor win, because it could be like Caius is your 13 character.
Yeah, it's like, let me help Caius.
My good buddy Caius.
Or Sid Reigns.
Yeah, or Sid Reigns. but
aren't they friendly at one point earlier in the game? Or is that's fan, isn't it?
No, you don't know.
I don't claim to know.
It's complicated. I like that they've got that little nod, because it's okay to have a flavor fail to make the card better, but still have the essence of the flavor in there. Because most of the 13 characters are good guys.
Yeah, especially.
Well, we don't have any of the real villains yet, right? I mean, Caius is the villain of 13 too, but like of the first one.
You got Caius, you got Jill Nabat, and then
Sid Reigns,
as you said, you got Sword of Sid Reigns.
I'm looking forward to and still feeling somewhat traumatized by the eventual inclusion of Bartantalus.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I'm looking forward to that. I hope his card is just faces.
I'm sure he'll be an ice card, Chris.
He will be an ice card.
You'll get him.
And
you'll play him just to troll me.
The other thing I was going to say is Human, that was printed in the same set.
Yep.
Activates Lightning, kind of.
Yeah, it's a 13 character.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't notice that.
One of the final encounter things.
So you don't even need to be running Ice or Earth or whatever to have a reliable 13 guy on the field.
And and there's also like in 13 in Lightning you've got
Mackie,
Rigdia, Mackie.
Mackie's a backup you're also happy to play as well.
I mean, especially with
in Lightning, definitely.
Yeah, I'm talking about
this hasty Lightning. I remember when we started playing. Was it you that weren't?
Yeah,
that
it was
wasn't
me.
Sure?
When I had the 13 starter deck, it was my introduction to this game, and I thought Mackie meant specifically card name Lightnings. I thought, wow, this is so narrow.
Well, now we've got 6 Lightnings, so it's not too
narrow. Things for him to target, especially if you're playing title series. You can have 6 unique Lightnings in play.
I think that's one of the people's one of the fans' problems with Lightning in the card game. It's like when you mention Lightning, is it the element or the forward?
Awkward naming.
Yeah.
The thing I dislike most about this Lightning, and it's in part one of the reasons why I so quickly traded away the foil I opened at pre-release, is that she isn't a knight. She is a
Yeah.
Knight of Etro, which
But
means that I can't put her in the inevitable Knight deck that I'm going to make this Opus.
yeah, you can still, but like
I'm not going to.
you can still because with this lightning, you don't really care about the power, because she's dulling everything anyway.
You can't find this lightning.
Yeah, but you can't find lightnings that aren't the night lightning.
That's true.
And you're playing other lightnings
But-
anyway, so you
no,
can
no,
miss that lightning.
I'm also unlikely to play that lightning now because we also have Dystarg, Ramza, and the new Ramza.
Yeah.
So I
There's
think
there's
I'm actually pushed for space among my element lightning cards.
No, I would still put lightning because she's a big knight. The promo lightning,
Yeah, she, like that's the reason to play her.
and also very good against ice.
I have because she has the words activate lightning on
yes,
her.
it's
Yeah.
very relevant.
Okay, I mean I have killed a vein with her once,
Yeah.
so that was kind of fun.
No, whose vein did he kill?
I can't remember. It was at one of our weekly events.
Weeklies.
Ah, okay.
But let's just talk about how this is technically like a finisher card, right?
Yes.
Because, like, say in the event they've got 3 forwards, yeah. You play this lightning, they dull 1 forward. You attack with her, they'll dull another forward. Then you just like discard a lightning to dull the next forward, and then all your other forwards can just go through for damage.
Well, you dull the 2 that she doesn't kill, right? And then you just attack, and then they block, and you only blink her out if some combat trick happens.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So-
and then it depends on the board set, but say that they did block and they are bigger than you, then you just like S, then
Yeah.
they dull, and I
No,
guess
no, she's a good forward.
Yeah, as we
Um,
talked in our set review, she's a good finisher because not only does she dull the 2 things, she can actually do a damage as well, and she doesn't have to be a finisher. Like
No,
she's scary like, to have it on the board, and it's also like, do I spend my summon to try and remove her?
yeah.
What
It's the same ideology with the push.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, do you remove her, or do they just have another lightning in hand that they can just...
You can play the bluff game.
But
Yeah, and she does just continue to generate value over time. I mean, that on attacks effect is very strong.
I can definitely see her, like, even in that set you're talking about, you're running water, and therefore you're running activating effects. So you can Astrologian and Fairy her after her, after her ability. I keep on trying to say S. But
Yeah.
after her
After her
ability...
discard card named Lightning.
yeah, after this guy can that lightning. But, and
suppose
then you can activate her and then
That's
attack
actually
again.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why she I don't think she fits in Mono Lightning. Mono Lightning has so many staples that
Yeah.
you don't have enough space to fit her in.
And you also might not have a high enough density of. I mean, I know that there are a lot of 13 characters in Element Lightning.
You
But-
could just run 3 Rigdias, 3 Mechis, and 3 human, and you've got a set, But that's not the point. The point is that to activate her, to give her the maximum value. With Hope, you can activate, with...
Oh, Hope's a 13 character too. That's
yeah,
cool.
as well, yeah.
You know what's pretty good against his lightning?
Tell her.
Remedy.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, that's true.
Comes back. And
We-
Remedy
gotta pay
and
two.
Sid Randall.
She already comes back dull. though,
Oh yes, she
for
does.
that. I mean, I guess it's nasty for when you play
When you
her
play it the
initially.
first time, yeah.
Yeah.
Bumps her up to
I mean-
being a 6 cost.
I mean,
Yeah.
they can still pay 1 if they want to, right?
Well, it's a really awkward one to pay because she costs 5.
Yeah.
If it went from like an even number to an odd number, then that 1 to pay is like not so bad.
Not so bad, yeah.
But yeah, I feel like going from odd to even makes it a bit more tricky because you can't just discard 3 to play her and get the 1 cost out of the way.
So, like, even though there's a searcher in ice and there's a searcher in earth, she fits in water and wind.
She fits in ice as well.
Does that make sense?
She fits
I
in
think-
ice as well.
yeah,
That's
Oh, well, like, yeah,
Because-
because ice already has so many, like, dull.
things that take advantage of dull effect.
Yeah.
And also can reach a critical mass of more dull effects. So she can fit with ice.
I actually think this lightning pairs well with every element because there are at the very least there are 13 characters that are in all of the elements other than water, right? Is it just water? That
Water has
doesn't have
13 characters.
one? But who is it?
Yagrush.
Oh, Yagrush.
It has the
You
aggro.
can
It has
just, like-
huge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So like,
No one's gonna
it-
play huge. Except in my zombie emperor deck.
I played huge for a while. It's cool. I like huge. But 13 characters are prolific enough that I'm
Yeah, there's
across all
Yagrashes
of the
everywhere.
elements. Well,
Oh,
there,
yeah.
there was a little while back in the last opus that they were showing up fairly
Yeah. Always.
regularly.
Don't overplay it.
Every time I play Sephiroth.
We were talking just yesterday. Greg and I were talking with Kevin, and we were talking about how we can just run more Sephiroths Then Kevin just piped up, I'll just start playing Yagrosh. It's like, no!
I hope he does.
we finally
That
have
would be so funny.
a way to get round Minwoo's, and it's all for naught, because it's just going to have to kill a Yagrosh.
Hey, you
That's-
turn off lightning.
No,
and
that's why you play. That's why you play Earth for Hekatonkyr, because
Mhm.
Hekatonkyr doesn't care about Yagrosh.
That's true.
No, but yeah, it's
I like to imagine Sephiroth. He's like falling down from the ceiling, trying to aim at Minwoo. He's like, "Ooh, look over there, Yagrosh.
Yeah.
I'll kill that one instead."
yeah. Oh man.
I think
But,
the
like-
flavour is what's in Yagrosh's agency,
Yeah.
not the thing that's trying to kill something else.
I understand that, but this is the way I've chosen to visualize it for the.
Yeah, he's a hard boss fight, by the way.
Is he
Yeah.
Yagrosh?
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's tricky until you figure out what you're supposed to do.
Oh, that's
Even
what-
then, it's still
helps.
pretty tricky.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So.
What kind of decks might you put this lightning in? Do you
Oh
think
yeah. So that's.
she's a control card or just like a straight aggro card?
You can do both.
I think she has a home in both kinds of
Yeah.
decks.
Yeah. But I was thinking about, maximizing its value. That's why I was thinking more water or
Mhm.
wind, and then you don't have searchers and that. So that's the thing. But you still have a searcher within lightning, in the case of Jewel Cortana, to search for the other lightning
Yes.
to essence, right?
I suppose.
The promo
but
lightning.
like
yeah.
you wanna be using your searches to make sure that her effect happens, right?
Mhm.
More than anything else. So like Amodar and Mog 13. Is it Mog 13 or Mog 13 2?
Mark 13 too.
Okay, yeah, they're
The
both
worst of the Mughals.
And the best of the movies.
Um,
He is Mark 13 too.
Anyway, they're both like they find this one or they find resources for her and they cause her ability to actually work. So
In what ways is it bad? I would say that
downsides. So
Yeah, the downsides is that Zeller kills it.
Yeah.
yes, that's true. Zeller will always kill this lightning.
Not if she's active.
Well, yeah, not if she's active.
Most of the time she's not active. Let's just admit that.
But I think the fact that you can interact with the auto ability as well, if you can remove, say there was only one other 13 character,
Oh yeah.
you can just remove all of her utility.
Mm.
Especially if you set up some sort of instance where you try and bait out a lightning from their hand as well,
Oh yeah, and then
So
you have
you-
another removal that you can just stick on top.
and you stack the removal on top, killing the other thing instead of lightning. So not only
Oh,
has
yeah.
she come in and not done her thing, you've also eaten a lightning out of their hand
Oh yeah.
to make sure that she can die later.
But the very fact of haste forwards, I mean, you might see it from from farther away, but you can't really see it coming. Like for example, we have a ghoul on the field. You know one of your things is going to be dulled at some point in time, right? Because there's a ghoul there. But this one, it comes from your hand, and it's like,
Well,
Do
Ghoul
they-
also
do they
comes
have
from the
a
hand.
ghoul-
It has haste, quote unquote.
yeah, yeah.
Ghoul will always get to see this lightning before she attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So like if she comes down, she's probably getting ghouled.
Yeah.
Probably, unless there's something worse. I'm trying to think what could be worse in the case of like a deck you'd find this lightning. Like what do you want to ghoul other than this?
I don't know.
That's about it, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, like, she'll be
Yeah.
the biggest threat when she comes down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what she should be.
There isn't, yeah.
Like, it's going to be scary against that style of deck. Like, if she comes down and then she's like, oh, I dulled your thing, and dull this other thing, and then you probably... I imagine she's in an aggressive deck with a critical mass of dull effects. Like, so you can have, like, the Opus IV Shiva, you can have Snow.
Amon.
Yeah, the Opus 1 Snow, right?
Sarah, the backup, is a 13 character.
Yeah.
Amon?
Sorry?
Amon?
Amon, potentially, maybe.
No,
It's like-
I think he works great with her.
I think-
It's just his cost that I'm concerned about.
I think you-
but
Oh.
I don't want to say no.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't made the deck, so it's something I consider. I don't know if we're going.
I think one of the other lightnings you play is the 4-drop Opus 1 lightning that comes in and dulls a thing
Yeah,
with
break
haste.
about target.
Yeah.
I would. I
Because
don't know.
you don't necessarily mind if...
This was actually my issue with lightning,
dies.
is because I found it hard to decide which other lightning I'd want to play, because none of the other lightnings fit in any of my existing play styles. So if I was to put this one in, what's my other one? So
Yeah, I would prefer to have a lightning that's without with an S. Like, I love the 4-drop lightning. Don't get me wrong. It's really good, and I put her in my like very aggro lists with ice and lightning devout because she's a great devout target. But I wouldn't put her in a deck with this because in the case that I draw the other one first and I want to play that lightning, then I'll still have a lightning to S with that one. You know, like the Opus 1 legendary lightning. Her S is still relevant. It's rather slow removal, but it's still removal.
To be fair, the 4K lightning's pretty easy to get killed.
I guess so, yeah.
She dies to pretty much everything.
I guess you can just random into the forwards and then you play Onion Knight afterwards if you wanted to. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just the kind of, I guess, losing the extra utility of having another. Even if it's just the 5-drop EX one, I wouldn't mind running that one with this one.
Yeah, she's. I always forget about that lightning. The Gestalt drive.
Yeah.
Really? That's the first one I think of when I'm thinking about the lightning.
I think it's just because I haven't actually. I haven't made a deck using it, and I haven't seen many other people playing it. So I
created a deck on FF Decks just before Opus 4 released of Snow, Lightning, Gestalt, and it came up to like top 3 on FF Decks.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
My title series deck was a Final Fantasy 13 deck that was just it had 3 unique names for its forwards: Snow, Lightning, and Gilgamesh.
That's not bad.
There's lots of lightnings, and that's when I discovered the 6.
And you can run 6 Gilgameshes because there's 2 different Gilgameshes.
No, because they're not on 13.
Yeah, you can only run. There's only one.
Oh, the other one. Which one is the other one? Category 4.
I don't know what. It's not
There's
13
a category 4 and a category 4 Dissidia one.
Oh yeah.
I believe.
And then there's a Black Tortoise Lassie.
Yeah. Gilgamesh. Yeah. Still counts, just like how Go-Go still counts as favorite.
Yeah.
I believe they quite specifically do not.
Yeah, but anyway, so like we talked about a lot of the cool interactions. It doesn't necessarily counter anything, but Guy counters her, I guess. Guy is bigger than her. A guy is bigger than her, and you know, she can't really done him.
Yeah, Cyclops. Easy peasy.
I guess so.
Or Odin or whatever. You're in Lightning.
They're in Earth. They might have a golem.
Golem.
Right?
Hey, Odin.
Oh, Odin works.
Yeah.
And you're playing Lightning, so Odin is probably
If you're
fits in
playing
your deck
the
because
legend one anyway.
there are 2 other Lightnings that care about Odin.
The other thing is that this lightning kind of promotes you to have monsters that turn into forwards. Like, say you have a bomb or a Banga Thief. She can't dull those monsters. So your
Yes,
opponent...
she can. After they turn into forwards.
After they turn. But you're not going to turn them into forwards. Like, you're going to turn to forwards after she attacks. Then you turn to forwards. Then they have to discard lightning to dull it, you know.
But I don't have to dull it. Like, all these monsters are like... The biggest one is 7k, right? There's Behemoth, I guess. So there's Behemoth and there's Green Dragon.
And Malboro also shrinks her smaller than it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not like it's still relevant, I would say.
Okay. I was just thinking bomb.
Most of the ones that become forwards can
at least trade
with her. Yeah.
So far, the only monster I've seen that becomes a forward in my games is bomb.
I played against somebody playing Banga Thief.
Yeah, it's an 8k Brave with the NRP.
Oh, it's 8? Oh, with
no.
It's 7.
No, seriously, it's very relevant with the NRP.
He was good because he's both an attacker and a blocker on a mostly untargetable thing during your turn.
Yeah.
Like, I had to trick them into blocking with it to get rid of it, so...
Interesting.
Banga Thief was, I think, one of those cards we might have not rated highly enough during our set reviews.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I don't think it's an all-star. But
Oh,
I
no,
think
definitely not. No.
It's better than we may have considered.
It'll be interesting as we go through the opus and find out the things that we rated.
Yeah. This kind of thing mixes with the Mecha Chocobo as well. Like Mecha Chocobo. I know. You did really well. I brought it up.
Do we need to have you contained? Do we need to quarantine you both? Is
No.
fever contagious?
He's really excited about it now.
Oh, no.
Just you wait by the end of the opus.
You never played it against me. Why don't you play it against me? Anyway, so the thing is that with Mecha Chocobo, it requires you, it's beneficial for the opponent to have a monster that can turn into a forward, which is the same as this lightning. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of cards in this opus where it's like, this is a good card if it came in Opus 3. Like, if it's like amazing card that gave us, but since Opus 4 with monsters, there's much more a lot of play around. Just like how we were talking about Yag Rush. Like, we play all these Sephiroths. I'll just play Yag Rush. Like, there's a lot of play and counterplay.
Yeah.
And I really like that, especially when they're...
The meta is going to shift
they're pushing for
Yeah.
monsters. Like this is one of the cards where you can tell.
Yeah. Depends how much play it sees anyway.
Oh, this lightning.
Yeah.
It depends. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. We can't really tell right now. Yeah, I think. Do you think we covered the card enough?
Well, yeah. Well, since we're
Yeah.
talking about Guy already, right?
Well,
With counting.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
our next
And
segment is going to be
The Element Encyclopedia for Earth.
Yay, Earth.
Earth is amazing.
Do I have something to say about
We have here a true believer in Earth in the form of Murad,
Earth is the
And-
best element.
and I suppose
Hey, don't leave yourself out of this.
I straddle the middle. I don't hate Earth, but I don't love it.
So pretty much, I was gonna just get a quick rundown of Earth.
Mhm.
Earth is all about cheap, big dudes. Back when we were recording the set review, we that was the first time where I realized where
Yeah.
where 6K isn't actually the baseline for 2-drop forward.
Murad was walking around thinking, a 2-drop 6K, that's the baseline.
Yeah.
That's as small as they're allowed to be, whereas all of us non-Earth players were going, no, Murad, look up on Mognet or somewhere. 2-drop 5K is the baseline.
Like
'Cause
okay,
we were looking at Realm, right?
yeah, one
Was
of
it-
those.
Was it Sarah?
I think it
I
was
saw Sarah. It was
Sarah.
Sarah. Yeah, it was Sarah. So I was like, Sarah. I was like, but like, because Chris was like, but she's on curve. She's like, she's small, but she's an on curve 2-drop. I was like, she's not on curve. She's like 6K. And I'm like, and then I was like, what? And then I like looked it up.
You've been spoiled
I
by...
looked it up and I was like, okay, Monk, WRM members,
Yeah.
Barrett, and I was like,
They're all
These are all
Ursula.
Earth cards.
This is all Earth cards. No, okay, so I don't know about you guys, but it's like that was my understanding, and so that's why I rationalized that 2-drop cloud. Because the 2-drop cloud was like, oh, okay, he's under the curve, has like extra abilities, and then gets him over the curve, right? Or like Onion Knight. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
he's under the curve, but he has haste. You know, that kind of stupid thing, and it's like
No,
That's actually they were on.
they were on curve.
That's-
Oh, that made the cards even better. I was like, oh my god.
Well, I mean, let's get back to what are the basics of Earth. I really like
Okay.
the way that you describe it in the Chocobo Academy
It doesn't
video.
do anything?
Well, no,
No.
Right there.
because you don't say that.
You don't say that.
Chris
Yeah.
said when you're being most generous to Earth, how
Yeah.
do you describe it?
I say so. It's what do I say? A proactive reactive element.
No, it's
proactive-
proactive defensive.
Sorry, proactive defensive element.
Yeah.
Proactive reactive.
So
Yeah, proactive.
explain
defensive
what you meant by that.
element. So it's where it's a defensive element in that it protects itself
Yeah.
from taking damage, and it does that proactively by playing huge dudes, and it says to your opponent, right, I have a board, deal with me. And my forwards are big compared to what I paid for them, and compared to yours, and then they just hope to win on like raw power usually.
By generating either efficient trades or bad combats for your opponent as well,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why so many Earth summons, especially, are combat
It's
oriented.
a lot
That's
of
right,
a
yeah.
lot of Earth's game plan is dependent upon the forwards it has in play,
That's right.
which means it also gets tools to protect those forwards. Kind of like how Ice's game plan is dependent upon like your opponent having dull forwards, it therefore gets tools to dull the forwards. Whereas dulling itself isn't the primary game plan. for
That's
that.
right. That's right.
And then in Earth, it's like protecting its stuff isn't the primary game plan. It's just it also gets that because
Because the
they're so
forwards,
important to
the
it.
forwards are there. But
Yeah.
like, I didn't realize because I actually always loved Titan, and then when I played against Kuja and I used Titan, it just made Titan so much worse. Like just the very fact of
I
cheap
remember
This
freeze.
is the fact that it your
Yeah.
forward that you've protected from,
It was-
I guess,
it-
an Odin.
Yeah,
It was
frozen
Guy.
forever.
Yeah.
It
It
was
was
Guy
Guy,
that
yeah.
you dulled with Titan, and that
It
guy
is-
never activated again in the whole game.
And
It felt
since
so
then,
good.
no one has ever since played a god.
Yeah, but okay. Let's get back. So it says cheap guys powerful. Most of the cards, not most of the cards, like the ability that they share is like brave. You know, they just got a
That's
Geomancer.
their go-to keyword.
Yeah, yeah. The go-to
Yeah.
keyword. They got Geomancer with brave. I just want to I just want to say something about this Geomancer. When I first saw it, I really loved it, and I loved the ability of the brave, and I still do because it allows you to become, you know, offensive and defensive. But I wish it was tap, break, give a forward brave.
Just so it breaks itself.
Yeah. I think that would have been so much better in my
Because
opinion.
it's kind of filling the design space that's occupied in other elements by
Red Mage.
Red Mage, Mackie. like that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Is there anything else actually?
I mean, there's only those three keywords.
Because there's only yeah.
Oh, there's haste. Yeah.
Red mage, that's
From
the
the
red mage.
lightning red mage.
Oh, that,
And
yeah,
then
that's what I meant.
The fire red mage was the blocking, I guess, because that's like
Yeah.
fire's thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's not a backup that dulls things, is there? Oh, there's Edward.
And
He's not
Walter's
really the same thing.
Walter's one was scholar. He just returned a guy to you.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
I was more thinking like an astrologian, maybe.
It's like a
Could be
wind
theirs.
kind of as well.
Well, yeah, but like water and wind are the two elements that get to activate cards. Earth isn't the only element that gets brave, and lightning isn't the only
That's
element
right,
that
that's
gets
right.
haste or first strike.
Just to bring it back to Earth a bit, they've been getting some more reactive defensive tools as well, because they've been kind of bleeding into what was previously ISIS territory of interacting with dull forwards.
Well, like they always had
Masked
Nostalgia.
Woman and things like that.
True.
No,
true.
they've
They
always had Nostalgia.
yeah,
that was
yeah.
that was like their it was like, what's a good element to pair with Earth? Oh look, there's ice. And oh
Yeah,
look, there's
yeah.
fire. But then it doesn't really pair with the elements but now it does. Like there's a deck for everything. But initially it was just like it pairs with fire and pairs with ice, and any other elements is less so, I guess.
Yeah.
Synergistic, so to say.
Yeah.
But it also has high tempo cards, so it's got the Vincent Yuffie combo, it's got
Yep.
the Yang Ursula combo.
Yuffie's a
It's-
wind card.
Yeah. She's one of the best Earth cards.
Yeah,
Opus
she-
3, Earth got one extra card.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly true.
Yeah.
And the other thing was you can do the 6-drop Vanille into Vang and into Vincent, into Yuffie, or into Yang, into Ursula.
The
There's a-
rose with
the
deadly
rose-
efficient.
WRO members. for,
Ingus into WRO members.
Yeah.
You know, Ingus is a very good card. I think it's still gonna be played. So they've also, even though it's just one card, it's still a very relevant card. It's the Opus 1 Hecatonk here, and that always, whenever you want to kill a backup, you always be like, okay, do I run Earth, or do I run Wind, or do I run the Sephiroth? And like, even though it's one card, it's the same. Yeah, it's like it's a consideration along with the Shantoto. That's, you know, if you want to board wipe, play Earth.
Yeah.
Shantoto
But-
is an interesting card in Earth because I feel like it's in Earth as its cost, right? Like
Because you want your forward to
yeah,
stick.
Earth it's so contrary to
That's
Earth's
true.
strategy
Yeah.
that it's least powerful in Earth.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's fine to exist in Earth.
Yeah. It's the same sort of thing like with Cleon that we were talking about, the summons. Like
Yeah.
the most important thing about water, but Cleon
Yeah.
is in water.
Yeah, exactly.
That cancels the
I like how
summons.
they use elements as a cost. So
Yeah.
like that's how they can put things against it. As so long as they don't do so many that it actually becomes that element's new identity.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
is, I suppose, why we haven't seen, excluding this new Shantoto, we haven't seen really any more board wipes.
Well,
in
that
Earth.
that new Shantoto also is on a forward.
Yeah.
So
It makes more sense than
yeah.
the previous one.
That's right.
But I suppose that's why we haven't seen really any
Yeah.
additional board wipes.
Yeah.
And it's the same name as Shantoto, so it's like you're running one or the other, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
High opportunity.
The other things that Earth does is they like to be hit for some reason, even though they're defensive.
So you mean things like Cecil and
Cecil, all the Dark Knights pretty much, and Gibran.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that Cecil's still proactive. You have to play the Cecil,
Yeah.
I guess so,
and
yeah.
then it exists as an important forward you need to protect.
That Cecil
Mm.
is actually, I really like him, but I never find space in the deck. Like,
Oh, I
he's-
played him quite a bit.
he's-
I actually like him a
He's
lot.
usually one of my go-to 3-drops because
there's not many good Earth
Earth,
drops.
Earth tends to have a lot of their like action plays at 4
Mm.
or higher.
He says
Yeah.
to your opponent, obviously he just straight up kills things at 5k or less, but most of the time he says to your opponent, you can only attack with one thing each
Yeah.
turn. Or
Unless-
I'll just start shooting your guys if you
Yeah,
hit me multiple times a turn. So he's a great gatekeeper.
Yes. No, like I say, like I'm not hating the car. I just never find a space for him. It just, yeah, it's one of those weird things. Yeah. So Gibran likes to be hit up to 6 times, and then gets super big or gets an extra effect,
All your
or-
opponents get brave.
or gets cheap. You know,
Yeah.
the Opus 2 legendary one.
Yeah.
The other things. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna comment on those two Gibrants. One, as a recovering Earth player, I remember coming that second Gibrant coming out and being so disappointed by it. In
Yeah.
comparison to the
Yeah.
previous
It was
one.
it was a doubt legendary of that set, I would say. Yeah, unfortunately. The other thing was like we talked about Titan, it can't be broken. We've got the monk in this new opus. that you can't break a dull forward.
Tightens a dull forward, right?
Well, no, yeah, but it tightens a dull forward. Yeah. I think it's really relevant with when you try to use a new hecaton here on a dull forward, so that forward won't die. Or even if you Tama and a Roban dull and then just monk it, I guess you can do that as well.
But like this fighting mechanic Roban Hecaton, that's very Earth, because it's like,
That's
haha, I'm super powerful now because I have super efficient removals because I have a big
big
dude.
guy. Yeah.
I especially like the new Roban. He's because
The new Roban.
well, the new one, just because he puts more of an emphasis as well on the little ancillary buffs that Earth has, like your golems and the new goblin. Because that sort of space for Earth is what I've still tended to include.
It's a very Earth removal.
That's another thing. I think we rated goblin too lowly.
I was fighting for it.
You were.
I have been
Pleasantly
subsequently surprised by Goblin. I put it in just because I thought I'd try it with the new Roban, and I've won games just because, alright, I kill your thing and I pop my Goblin and I keep my Roban. What do you do now?
That's right.
It's basically a 1 CP deal 9k or something.
Yeah.
Well, the total cost is 5, right? So.
Well, no, because you get your Roban.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. The other thing was that we've got forwards that are either difficult to target or unable to be targeted, like the Delita and the Vincent. So the Vincent can't be broken by many of the effects that say literally break this forward, like Chaos Walk over the wheel.
Yes.
Or
We didn't make a misplay like that, did we, Mirage?
No. And there wasn't a judge there that also missed that mistake as well.
we were playing. Mirage and I were playing in our regionals, and I was playing this EX burst deck, and he hit me with his Vincent, and I revealed the Chaos, and then he put the Vincent in the break zone, and then the judge who was standing there watching it all happen was like, yep, sure, cool. And it wasn't until like a minute later that we're like
two turns later.
Yeah, we're like, wait a second. Oh yes, this doesn't work. Whoops. But by that point, it already happened.
That game was actually really cool because it was like you were on 6 points of damage and you were attacking me, and I was like, okay, I've got 2 more Tifas in the deck. Okay, so you attacked with one guy, you got one in the damage zone, and you're like, okay, to attack with this guy now. You're literally waiting for like 1 to 2 minutes, just thinking if you're gonna attack, and then you attack with that forward, and then a Tifa gets revealed, and it's like, oh yes, you only got 1 more Tifa in the deck, and then I draw 2 cards, but then I draw Belize, so it's like, I went anyway.
No, I think you draw another Tifa.
No, it was I drew a red 13 and a Belize.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I drew a red 13, so I played the red 13, played the Belize. I had no cards in hand, but I had full backups.
Yeah.
So it was like no cards, full backups. Yeah. I need the Tifa, but then I got a red 13 and Belize. I was like,
GG.
Yeah. That was it.
So should we talk about some things Earth isn't good at?
No, I was gonna say you guys don't like the Delita, but it does do some of these things where it's like, oh, you can't target me.
So yeah, he's one of the go-to we can't be touched cards, right?
The legendary
Delita can be touched.
I mean,
he can be. That's the thing. He doesn't stop you from interacting with him.
Right.
He only punishes you for doing so. And most of the time, the punishment is less than the crime, right? Like I have gotten rid of that legendary Delita and not felt bad about it so many times.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but if you imagine like a effect like Zidane or the legendary Zidane on a big 5-drop forward, that would be just overpowered. So this is the next best alternative, so to say. I
suppose so.
Yeah.
I think a better like that. The big problem with that Delita is he costs 5. Sure, he's
a true 5 cost.
Yeah.
I will agree with that. But I love using the backup Roban to choose him, or the Hecaton here to choose him that guy, because if they're gonna remove that Delita, they're gonna have to do like something special, I guess.
They take damage or lose one of their things anyway. So I suppose in that sense he's a good target for your like fight based removal, but he's just a lump of force that your opponent can interact with. Like he's misleading in that way. I think a lot of people maybe just won't interact with him out of fear of taking a damage or losing a character, but
That's true.
usually it's just worth it.
Yep.
So, I mean,
just ignore him. He's just like an IK. You can party attack or whatever.
Exactly.
They're not going to block your party with this. They paid 5 CP for this, and they're for like at most probably a 4 CP thing.
I think a better version of that deleter is the new Dadaluma, because not only does he have this sort of the shield on him that your opponents won't want to interact with, but you can also utilize him proactively. You can deal small increments of damage to him to turn him into like a cannon, kind of like that.
Also, if your
Gilgamesh
opponents
from Opus 3
do interact with Dadaluma, you choose what happens.
Yeah.
You choose where the damage goes. I think it's much better than Delete, where your opponent has full control.
It's a little different, just because, like, I don't understand.
The outcomes are different.
Because you can still Odin the Dadaluma for no.
No, I mean I still get to
no drawbacks.
Deal 4k to something, and depending, like if you have Dadaluma in your deck, you have finisher damage, I presume. So you can like use that 4k that you've just gotten for free to make that Odin turn into part of your removal suite. So
yeah, the next thing I was going to talk about is it was the first element to get back attack in the form of Opus
and
IV.
still the only
one.
Element
but
to get back
but
attack.
technically the Opus 1 Tama was technical back attack as well.
I suppose. Yeah.
You know, it has Guy that cannot be dulled, and the new Opus 4 Black Mage that stops the people from dulling.
It gets a lot of very specific hate cards.
Yeah.
But I suppose that's again to protect its.
It gets cannot be dulled because its whole strategy is having a thing that stops you from attacking because it's just a huge guy.
What kind of element would you compare it to other TCGs like Magic?
Oh, like in Magic, I suppose it's most like green.
But green ramps. Earth doesn't ramp.
Earth doesn't generate extra resources.
No.
But
when I tried to play,
I mean, like in terms of how it plays when it's not just trying to when green is playing fairly. It's not fair. Fairly is the wrong word, but like if you take all of the ramp out of green and Magic, you've got Earth.
You're left with Earth. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I remember in Final Fantasy we've got more partitions of game effects, so they've just taken the ramp and split it up into different areas, right? Like Wind sort of has I've got more resources than you, or Water does in terms of its card draw, but that's not really the same thing. It's because the resource system is
Wind and Water are the two.
Yeah.
I generate more resources cards.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah. It's funny because with this new mono Earth deck, when I tried to play it mono Water style, like as a mono Water player, I like play a lot of searchers to get cards, play the Tama to like get another forward. You know, it's like I tried to play efficiently and play mono Water style and failed, and then just got a bunch of big dudes. And I was like, okay.
You earthed. Congratulations, you've earthed.
You've earthed. Yeah. So, let's talk about the bad sides.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chris has got a laundry list.
It's not a laundry list. It's actually quite simple. So it all began when I was looking at deciding to branch into other elements for Devout.
Yeah.
And I was like, what can
the
Earth
5+2 card.
The what?
The 5+2 card.
Yeah, in my rating system.
Yeah.
So I was looking through Earth, and I realized Earth just doesn't do anything. It's like
it doesn't have many ETBs.
Yeah, like it's not just ETBs. Like there are very few Earth forwards that actually do anything other than be big. Like if they have a special ability, I don't mean special with you just got a card. I mean if it doesn't have an ability, it usually just makes them bigger. And
a good example of that would be like
the row members,
right?
No, Gipple is the only good.
Gipple's like the only good developer.
Yeah.
But but even his effect is make things bigger, right? But that's actually more of a fire effect because it's only on your turn.
I think it's very good to devout Yang with the Ursula and Yang.
Yeah. As more episodes came out, they started sprinkling a few little things of like the forwards that actually do something. And so my biggest issue with Earth isn't so much from a mechanical point of view or like a balance point of view. It's just from I don't find it very interesting.
Playstyle point of view.
Yeah, like it's just big dudes, and then from then on, I just hyperbolize it. It's like they don't do anything. But with Opus 4, they got some very interesting cards. So Like
Like
that.
I want
Earth
to.
is losing itself in interesting cards.
Yeah,
No,
like
no,
Dadaluma,
straying from the
Shantoto,
path.
Kefka, like
It was always interesting, but the
like
thing.
my saying was Earthfords don't do anything or are called Vincent. was what I used to say about it.
No, I want to say something about Earth is that like, I'm the kind of player that just loves to attack without a care of the world. I just like attack, and I want the opponent to do the heavy thinking in terms of and Earth just like enables me to do that because like it's like, okay, I've got a golem in hand, okay, I've got monk on field, okay, I've got a titan, okay, I got hecaton care, just attack, and it's because like for example when you play ice, right?
Yeah.
You ensure that you have a plan to dull their forwards to dull their forwards, even if they have like an active era that can activate all the forwards.
Yeah.
You have a plan to.
You
respond.
compose that song I was talking about. Ages ago.
You can respond to that, but you have to make all of these kind of like, I'm not saying it's wrong, I think, but it's just it's a play style is a little different in terms of you have to put all these set pieces in play.
I love doing that.
But with Earth, it's just kind of like, okay, boom, I've got answers, just attack and make the opponent make bad decisions. Because even with good players, they like let the damage go through, and that is not a good thing to do against me. If you didn't know,
You're a high pressure player. Yeah.
What I find really funny, this is the funniest scenario to me in all of the Final Fantasy TCG, is watching two Earth players versus each other, and then it's like when one person has forwards that are bigger than the others, the person who doesn't have the big forwards is like, I have literally nothing I can do about this.
they've got enough things to.
Other than just like ruin everything with the Shantoto.
When I play against Gary, whenever I play Earth decks, I tend to make Earth Wind decks. And whenever I played against Gary in recent memory, he'd be sitting across the board with basically the same forwards as me and an Enecro. But I'd be sitting across from him with the same forwards, an Enecro, and a Maria. And then he just sits there and goes, well, I guess...
well, I've been out-earthed.
I've been
too big. I can't do it. What am I going to do? They're trying to Scooby-Doo at that point for some reason.
I've been out-earthed by a wind card.
That's I do understand that, but it's like if you're a good Earth player, you've got other outs than just power. There's this.
Do you?
What do you have?
What do you mean?
You've got Vincent and Shantoto, and that's it.
Vincent, Shantoto, and everything other than those things, or maybe Mustadio. Everything else cares about size.
No, but like even if they have bigger
that's what
forwards,
we should be calling this episode. Size matters. The Earth podcast.
No, but like even if the opponent's forward is bigger than yours, right? If you're playing Mono Earth and they're playing Earth / something, you've got much better ways to buff up your guys, and you should be able to win combat.
But the way that the other elements will subvert that is they'll just make sure you can't be in combat with them. Like Ice will like dominate you.
Sorry, what?
Like Ghoul or
Water.
whatever. Fire and lightning will just burn away your forwards. Water will bounce your forwards. Wind will get underneath your forwards with like evasive effect. I'm looking forward to seeing more exploration into the monster side of things for Earth. I mean, so far we've got Goblin and Bunga Thief. Is there another one?
Yes, there's Magic Pod.
Oh, Magic Pod. Which we all said was basically one of the most interesting cards in the new set.
This is what I meant. It's in Earth as a cost.
Yeah.
Because Earth has very bad targets for Magic Pod compared to all the other elements.
I think the only like superb target is Kefka, right? That's the best thing.
Kefka.
Not even just the 2-drop to the 8-drop, but like being able to go from the 8-drop into another 8-drop or from the 8-drop into the dark one, because then it like also nets you a card.
I just want to just give a small point that this Kefka L is the meta defining card of Opus 4.
You think that you're locking that in?
I'm locking it in.
We could start a pool. What we think might be the one.
2 foil cards.
I think we should do that maybe when everyone's here.
But I don't know. Like, come on. What other? I mean, like Ghoul is great, but it's not a Alcid.
Ghoul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not an Alcid. Does that make sense?
It's hard to point out. I think what single card is going to warp the meta because I don't think there's just one at this point.
Yeah, well, yeah, we have to
it's
wait.
probably
and
because
see.
we're only a week into the Opus,
Yeah.
but even just in our most recent like local weekly, there were pretty much everyone there had shown up with a brand new list, running all kinds of wacky, crazy stuff, and I don't know if I'm willing to like put my backing behind any one card, but Kefka's definitely a consideration. He's
This Kefka is we said it in the set review, but it's a consideration in every deck.
Yeah.
And I'm putting my money on it now. Is that Mono Water is still strong. Mono Water is still going to be in the meta, and there's going to be at least one or two Kefkas in that deck.
I think the reason Kefka's in Earth is because its alternate cost is hardest to pay in Earth.
That's right.
So
I have found that.
Yeah. So
I have found that, yeah.
So then it's like this Kefka could have been in like any element, right? But it's like, oh, it's in Earth, so you can get to play with it too, Earth.
I
That's what
also
it's-
feel
that's
having
what it's
played
for.
it in an Earth deck, I've only ever just paid for him.
Yeah.
I've never wanted.
He's worth it.
It's not because I've not had guys to
That's right. Yeah.
to
'Cause,
break, but he's worth 8.
He
He is.
right?
Yeah,
Like-
he is worth it.
The closest comparison to him is Odin, and Odin doesn't come with a body, and
No.
he can also he's also removal for monsters, which I mean Earth doesn't have any
Which
other
is
removal
limited.
for monsters,
Yeah.
and
It's like because with Earth, right? You've got 3 WRO members, right? You're not gonna sack them for a Kefka.
yeah, they're
But then, like in Water, you've got like a Knight, maybe a Zidane or whatever. You're happy to sack them
I
for a
just
Kefka.
thought when you, sorry, it's just popped into my head when you talk about Ghoul. You're saying it's not like you don't think it's going to be like meta defining, but earlier I think it was you or maybe someone else was talking to me saying that they think Ghoul is the best monster to kill with monster removal.
It is. I did say that.
I think I also said
Yeah.
that.
It is.
So-
It is the best monster to
So-
remove.
The problem is it's also in ice, and they have the
So-
World of Final Fantasy Sid, so
Yeah.
Because of that, like that's going to be the consideration for putting in monster removal.
But that's
Including-
Kefka.
that's-
Oh, so you
So
think
that's meta defining, right?
Oh,
Because
okay.
then it's affecting how people make their decks. They're considering this other card that's not
Okay.
in there.
if people are putting in Kefka to deal with, because they have no other ways to deal with monsters, in addition
And the
to
monster
the
they're
fact that
thinking
he
of is Ghoul.
yeah,
you're
then-
making me very sad, Chris. You're taking the crown away from an Earth card to an Ice card.
well, he's a reactive player, right? And
Why can't we have something, Chris?
no, I'm not saying Kefka's not a.
Earth gets nice things, just everybody else gets to play with Earth's nice things.
Oh man, we'll do a quick wrap up. Pretty much Earth can be in, like there's a meta deck of Earth, and Earth / something else in every element. There's Fire Earth, Ice Earth, Wind Earth, Water Earth.
What do you
Lightning
mean
Earth.
by a meta deck in that
In,
instance?
in terms of like it has topped and
there has been
and a
a
top 8
relevant
and, like
Earth X deck
yeah.
in each format.
and in each element. So like there is a Fire Earth deck, an Ice Earth deck, a Wind Earth deck, a Water
Yeah.
Earth deck, and a Lightning Earth deck, and Opus 3 in the Nationals. They're all top 8. When you're playing against Earth, even if they don't play Shantoto, you have to keep in mind that they could Shantoto you because it comes from their hand and you can't really see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they usually have
Sid Polendina.
unless they have simple Dina.
I'm not surprised that there's Earth X decks because forwards are really important in this game, and if Earth gets the most efficient raw stat sticks, then you can supplement that with whatever other element strategy you've got, and you can formulate a nice gameplay.
So on to our next segment. Instead of the meta report, this week we're just going to talk about our new Opus 4 deck ideas. If you guys don't mind, I'm just going to start with my one.
Sure, go ahead.
And we're going to go through these a little bit quick, but I'm going to put up the deck list onto the video.
So these are the decks we've actually been playing.
That's
in
right.
Opus
That's
4.
right.
The ones
Yeah.
we've had a chance to
Mm.
have a go with, right?
Yeah. So I've been playing a big mono water Knights deck. So this is a mono water deck with Earth in mind.
Built using the principles of Earth.
Yeah.
This
No.
water deck finds itself superior to Earth.
Honestly, so I really like the card Cleon because that just shuts off a lot of plays. So I'm putting that in, and I'm sacrificing all the water summons. I know I'll be losing out on Leviathan and the Fanfrits, but I think that the trade-off is actually not that bad because the Cleons are also Kefka fodder for when you don't need the Cleons anymore. Because I put in 2 Kefkas. Like I told you, there's going to be 1 or 2 Kefkas at every Mono Water deck, including this one. And so I put 2 Kefkas, which is fodder for the Adamantoids, the Cleons, and any other water forward that I don't need, that I can kill a monster or forward. Which this Mono Water, actually, most Mono Water decks are lacking in removal, but my one more so because of less Leviathans and Soldiers.
Fewer Leviathans.
Yeah, well, no Leviathans.
Mm.
So I run 3 of the new Steiner, 3 of the new Beatrix, 2 of the Theodore, which synergizes with everything that's in the deck because everything's a water character.
Not Kefka.
Oh, not Kefka.
Beatrix is a knight. That's right.
Yeah. So pretty much I run 3 Beatrix, 3 Steiner, 3 of the new the Opus II Agrius, 2 of the Opus I Agrius, and then So I used to run Titus's, like 2 of the Opus I Rare Titus, the one that you can attack, give all your water for is plus 1,000. But I found that was not relevant because my guys were already big.
Yeah, Beatrix basically does the same thing for you anyway, and she's a knight, so she gets the buff, and she also, when you have Steiner, she doesn't take damage.
Oh yes, she doesn't get damage from abilities.
Yeah.
So if I've got Ovelia and Waka, Steiner and Beatrix, I've got 2 10k forwards.
That's pretty good.
And it's cheap. It's pretty cheap.
No, you don't have to preach to me the benefits of knights.
Yeah, so I used to play the Titus, but then I didn't find the benefit of that plus 1k because my guys were already big. So then I changed those 2 for 2 Emperors, the Opus 2 Emperor.
Yeah.
Just as a
He answers a lot of the problems that you would otherwise have, right?
Yeah, and 2 doesn't hurt so much, even though I don't run any Mughals or anything like that, because they're gonna remove that Emperor.
Well, Cleo plus the Emperor is a nice hole.
That's right.
Yeah, you don't there are very few ways to get rid of the Emperor when you've got a Cleon in play.
Yeah. And
just Kefka.
Just Kefka. And then I play another one. But so you've got the Ash, which is like an engine for the Steiner. So you can pay 2 water. So you can use Steiner's ability on Ash to dull her to give Steiner 1 plus 1,000. Pay 2 water, activate Ash.
Oh, that's Steiner.
Yeah. So I pay the new Steiner because
you're not going to find Garnet, right? Either. So
no, I'm not going to find Garnet. Yeah. So it's just that Steiner and Beatrix is the only things.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that deck has a lot of synergy in terms of, and the Theodore, whenever it comes down, I always give something brave because my guys don't have brave.
And I presume you're playing Lena and the standard unit knight.
Yeah, standard unit, and most of the time I don't get knight. I get Agrius. Because Agrius is a 7k.
Yep.
And
true.
she can S, and that's another extra part of removal for me. Yeah.
Are you running? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, we haven't. I've versed Kevin. I've versed Jared. I've versed in the weeklies.
I'd be interested to hear. I think we should also talk about what it's like reversing the decks that we made as well.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I think we could get Jared's opinion then.
I
what it was like.
don't remember playing against this deck.
What?
I'm sorry, everyone. When did we play against?
That was last
on Wednesday or
Thursday.
on Thursday. And I played the Dadaluma thing.
Yeah, I think so.
And I crushed you.
I remember you guys.
I don't remember.
I think I remember crushing you. Yeah, that's all coming back. I remember now.
Do you have Minwu in that deck?
No, I don't. No.
But you guys are huge. That's what Minwu synergizes with.
There's no space because I play Quattro Queen to make my guys even more. Maybe I can take out the Quattro Queens from Minwu.
I think you probably should. Are you playing Alma in that deck?
No.
Because I think you should.
There's not much because I play 3 of the Velia, 3 Astrologians to activate my guys, 2 Icos, 2 Bronze, and then 3 Quattro Queens.
Because Alma synergizes with the. Are you playing Gao in the deck?
No.
To bring back your Cleons?
No.
So you could, and then you can discard your 2-drop. So you can you draw a card, discard a 2-drop, bring it back with Lena, or draw a card, discard Cleo, and bring it back with Gao.
Yeah, no, it's there's not because I'm taking a very basic backup space philosophy. It's like I want these 5 backups and only these 5 backups, and so I'm putting 3 of the 5 backups that I want, and then the last backup is 4 searchers. So I just search for whatever I need, and those searchers don't need to be played in the game.
I bring it up because whenever I've built a Water X Knights deck, Alma has just been like an all-star for me. I think that's maybe a little bit of an underrated card. I think you should give it a try. It's
Yeah, maybe I will.
It's really good when you need to like focus on getting your like main team together. Which if you're trying to hit your Steiners and your Beatrixes, then like having that filtration effect can be really handy.
Yeah. But like so I just really love this deck, and I really love the Steiner. It like exemplifies what Steiner wants to do in this deck, the new Steiner, legendary Steiner, and it stops you from doing all these things, and you've got big guys and you just attack with them, like I told you, the Earth philosophy, just attack, you know, and then you've got Astrologian and stuff to kind of activate your guys whenever you want to.
Give them your fake brave, right?
Yeah, give them my fake brave. Yeah. So if you guys ever want to like try this deck, like it's really fun if you just want to have big dudes in water and just go face. What was your deck, Jared?
So I made a Wind Earth Dadaluma deck, and so I like the core like game plan I built the deck around was I saw Dadaluma as like a kind of new. There were those Gilgamesh cannon decks, those lightning decks that ran, or fire decks that ran just enough lightning CP to play the Opus IV Gilgamesh, and then they'd like just spend their backups every turn killing a thing.
Yeah, that's right.
You can do that even more effectively when you have Dadaluma and like Ishtula in play. So you deal 1 damage to your Dadaluma deals 4k to something, and if your opponent ever tries to deal with your Dadaluma, then that's an extra 4k that you get to dole out with your Ishtula. And I found every time that I managed to like secure that little combo and just get it in play, I'd run away with the game from that point forward. And it has other things, like I'm also playing the new Shantoto just to like, she can just be a roadblock, and because I'm playing that Shantoto and even Dadalum, I'm playing Ritz to make sure that water players don't just Leviathan my things.
That's right. Yeah. The Ritz is
I don't want to spend a whole bunch of CP setting up like a big Shantoto Hecatonka or Dadaluma Ishtala turn, only to have it bounced back. And
along with that, you found Shower.
I found even better than that. Like the more important part of that most of the time was the fact that when you're playing Ritz, you get access to Shara, who on her own I think is an exceptional piece of burn.
1-drop.
Oh, 1-drop that deals 3k. That's the best cost ratio on a forward.
No, on a 1-drop forward, except for Warrior, which is a 4k.
No, I don't mean her power, the damage she deals,
joking,
right?
Joking,
And then when you have your Ritz in play, who again she's sticky, you get to deal 6k to something. That's cheaper than Ifrit. That's just so good. I've just burned away boards just by playing Sharas, running them into their remaining guys, and then playing more Sharas. So yeah, that's the core premise.
The reason why that Fire Gilgamesh deck works so well is because you literally just like spend all your CP to remove all their forwards, and it's repeatable.
Yeah.
So this is similar in that vein. It's like just spend all your backup CP, remove all the guys, attack.
Even doesn't need to use CP to do it a lot of the time, because Ishtala, and I play Ishtala and Balthier.
You also play Kektra.
And Cactar. So
Cactar is best.
I don't even have to spend CP to deal damage to Dadaluma.
Yeah.
So you set up these little instances of ping, and then
I think
you get through, and your opponents just can't keep forwards in play unless they're spending extra resources to keep them there. And even then, because it's so cheap to do the trick to Dadaluma, you can just add more instances of damage on top. The restricting factor is the fact that Dadaluma can only take 7. You can only really activate this ability 7 times.
Yeah.
And you even then don't really want to be doing it that many times, because if your opponent has any damage whatsoever, if you don't have a way to buff your Dadaluma, he might get removed. And I have found when you don't have access to either like Shantoto to hold people off, or your Dadaluma combo, you can fall behind. But because that was happening, I put in the Opus I Earth Cecil, which just so happened. I didn't even think about this when I put him in. I put him in because I wanted to slow down my opponent. Yeah. But he synergizes really well with Cactar. Because when you go to 10,000 needles, they're big, dude. You also get to deal 5k to something else.
And then but like you said, like with the Cactar, the Balthier, and Ushula, you don't even have to use your backups to deal all that pings of damage, which in that case makes it better than the Gilgamesh.
That's what I'm talking.
Yeah,
The limiting factor is you.
It's a bit slow to get to that point.
You really want to have like, if you're going to play down your like the 2-card combo, or like when you go to play your Dadaluma, so long as you've got you either want like a Balthier and a Cactar, or a couple of Cactars. You want to be able to do it at least twice a turn.
There's no searchers or card draw in either of those colours, are there, for any of your combo pieces?
Not for any of the combo pieces.
Yeah. Because I found that that's the biggest weakness of your deck, is more when it just doesn't get its card online. Once it's online, it's super potent.
Like Kevin was recommending putting in, because he also had the idea, and he's put in his version of it, the 5-drop Devout from Wind, to make sure you can get back your Ishtola, and then you've also got some CP to spend with her.
Yeah. Along that vein, Tama as well.
Yeah, I've been running the original Tama, but I'm thinking more and more that I'll play the
new 7-drop,
the new
which is the
7-drop
amazing one.
Well, I haven't been convinced on it so far, but
I've got 6 foils of
because
it.
it can. I know I gave you one. Because it can bring back Dadaluma, and I also play in the deck. I play the new Hecatonka, not Hecatonka, sorry, Roban. So it can also sort of represent like an Odin.
Well, this is what we're saying the strength of Tama would be, right?
Yeah.
Is getting back things for another go around.
Yeah.
Rather than just the value getting something back tempo wise.
So I like the list that I'll put up for this. It probably won't be my final list, but it'll be what I've been playing. There are a lot of changes that I've got in mind. I think it's still a work in process, something I'm enjoying tinkering with. The original list had the 4-drop Barbarichas. I took them out and put in the new 4-drop Hope, and I'm not thoroughly convinced by that change.
What, putting in Hope?
I really like Hope, and Hope has been.
Maybe you can activate
Hope,
your
do you have Barts in your deck?
I don't currently.
Because if you have Barts, Hope is extremely
which
good.
Barts?
The 5-drop Barts that activate all your win characters.
Yeah.
This is something I noticed in one of my decks. Like when you've got Hope, Barts is activating your relevant thing that you're activating multiple times at that point.
Right.
And it's like I've just been using it with Balthier, right?
Yeah.
It's devastating.
Like Bart's was in my initial list, but he just got pushed out because of space.
If you're having Hope, I strongly recommend.
Okay,
Barts.
maybe I'll try that before I switch the Hope out again. Originally, I had the Opus IV Barbarichas, and just because setting things to 1 means I can kill them off easier, and that gets around the usual ping problem of, well, what do I do against Minwu?
Yeah, but you're in Wind though.
I'm in Wind and Earth, so
Yeah.
I'm playing Archers instead of Hecatonkas because I couldn't think of anything above 3 CP that I wanted to have to deal with, or that I thought I'd have to deal with. But yeah, I think as I iterate upon this list, it'll probably settle down.
So Chris, what was your deck?
So I've got 3, but I'll just talk about one.
Yeah.
But
We don't have time.
I'll go over briefly what
Yeah.
the other 2 are. So there's a 7 and 13 Fire and Ice deck,
Yeah.
which is like Caius and Sarah and like Light Cloud.
Yeah.
Because Shock could go some forward. That's a 7 and 13 forward already. Then I've got a Mecha Chocobo deck that's Wind and Ice, and that because I don't have the Sabines to make him indestructible, as in I just don't own the cards. I make him indestructible with the Ice Backup Chemist, and then I use Van to bounce Chemist when he attacks something. We play the Chemist next turn to make the Mecha Chocobo indestructible. So I do like my own version of making him indestructible every turn.
The budget version.
Yeah.
The poor man's version.
Yeah.
Budget. It still requires a legendary.
Van is cheaper.
Yeah.
And then the one I'm going to talk about is one of my many iterations of Mono Ice, this Opus. And I think I can sum up everybody's feelings about this card in 2 names, Ghoul and Celis.
Oh
They've been
God.
amazing.
Celis is just the most annoying.
Chris has developed a scale of measurement for a lot of his ice cards based off of my initial reactions to them.
It's called the scale.
Yeah,
And so like, what was it? An early example
Mateus.
or something like Mateus or something. Anytime I'd like run into a Mateus, like yeah,
yeah.
and
Because it killed your guy.
It killed-
You
it killed-
specifically put it to counter my eyes.
yes, and sellers after just playing one game against sellers, it broke the scale and began
No, it's beautiful.
It was
So
God, I hate that
I
thing.
feel so happy that Ghoul's been as good as I thought it would be.
Mm.
It's I love Ghoul and Sid Waff. And
What's the core?
so the
of your
core of
deck?
the deck. So there's a lot of characters, category 6 characters in the deck because Ice gets the searchers. And Locke's been performing really well. They've all been performing really well. They just feel like good cards. And the idea of this version is it's got a little bit of dull and interacting with dull things in terms of just straight up breaking them. But it's also got a bit more burn than I normally put in my ice decks because Terra's a 6 character and Terra burns things, and Sid Reigns can then punish that as well. You punish your opponent for having these small things that are dull, like Ishtalaz, for example.
That new Shiva, right?
That's it. That's the one. Yeah, that's the other one I was trying to think of. The new Shiva. I've got 5 Shivas. I've taken the Opus 1 3 CP Shiva as my other Shiva of choice, just because it EX bursts, and I like to play a more slow control-y style, so I like to take damage at the start of the game while I set up my backups, and so this gives me more chance to get free value, rather than like the Opus 3 Shiva, which I think is a better effect, but doesn't EX burst, sadly.
Sadly.
Yeah.
It's already good enough.
And it sets up... This deck has an ultimate late game plan with Flans. I really like the Flans. So, once you are set it with all your backups, you can go flan. Or like flan, find a flan, flan, find a flan, flan.
Yeah.
Or break your Sid, get a flan, find a flan, flan, find a flan, flan. And once you've got your flans, you actually only really need 2 flans. But if you've got 3 flans, you put enormous pressure on your opponent's hand just with the flans being there. Your opponent's like,
Yeah, you don't even have to break the flans.
Yeah, like,
they're just going,
so,
well, I'll empty my hand in my turn so those flans can't make the discard cards.
So then the alternative use for the flans, the name of the deck is Flans with Benefits, by the way, is you have the Fair Maiden Renoa, you sacrifice 2 of your puddings and Renoa to the almighty Kefka, or Kefgod, as we've come to call him.
And you can search for him in ice.
And you can search for him in ice, with 2 cards. It's especially relevant that a forward searches for him, because your backup searchers almost always find your early to mid game stuff. They don't find these late game combos because you've already played them.
Yeah.
But the forwards, which have then died, then you've got another one of those forwards. They can then find the set up the late game things. So you can find your Kefka, or
even then, Sets is an excellent thing to sacrifice to.
yeah, Sets is
Kefka
fine as
as
well.
well.
So you sacrifice these things to Kefka. Renoa then dulls your opponent's board, and then you Zalarat.
No. Who'd you kill with the Kefka?
Anything that costs 4,
you kill Guy.
Yeah. You kill Guy. Let's just be honest. You kill Guy.
Yeah, you kill Guy, or anything that was not going to. And that's completely devastating, because the flans have forced your opponent to play into a board wipe, or they just lose their hand. Like if they don't play into the board wipe, you just make them lose their hand. You don't have to do the whole Kefka Zalarat thing. And also, Category 6 can find summons, because you can use Sid or Setzer to find the Light Terror, which can find Zalarat. So much of this is searchable. The only thing that's not searchable is
so you play the Light Terror.
I do play the Light Terror.
Yeah.
I'm finding her a bit average, to be honest. Because I think she's best in elements that have battle tricks. And Ice doesn't have any battle tricks. Because then she's just so hard to play around from your opponent's point of view, if you've got an active Terror that you could potentially S at any time.
No, that was the other thing I forgot to say about Earth, is it has lots of battle tricks.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah,
so the flans aren't searchable, but you have Sid Waff, and the thing with the flans is you don't want to play them early. You have better things to do with your CP than play flans, so you want to discard them, but you don't want to discard them all because you need them all later. So Sid Waff lets you discard a flan, and then you still have access to the flan later. This is how Sid Waff is so different to Devout in the way it plays, and then the Renoa is not searchable, unfortunately, because the Category 8 searcher is a Renoa. So I just have to play 3 copies of her to get this. But this is just like an option the deck has.
You don't even have to be doing.
No,
this.
it just means that I now know that if the game's going long, I have an ultimate plan of how to.
You have something to crescendo into.
Yeah, and it's the fact the Flans put the discard pressure on your opponent makes it all work so well. Because your opponent could just play around it if the Flans didn't do that. If they just found each other, and, I don't know, they dull break to draw a card or something, still be really good. But it wouldn't be the same because your opponent just wouldn't play into the board wipe.
Yeah. But are you saying an Earth card is enabling your crescendo?
Well,
I think the fact that he's a 6 card is more.
It's more than 6, and it's the because I don't make FCP. The only way I can make FCP is to discard my 1 Kefka.
You should play 2 Kefkas.
I'm considering it because if it goes to the damage zone, then that's it. It's boned. I can't do that combo. But
having 1 in there means
it's
he's
like
unlikely
the
to do
deck
anything.
doesn't revolve around this ultimate late game plan. It's just really nice to have. And
It's like-
also, Celis existing is so fantastic because her S can protect this.
To protect this combo.
Yeah, not just the combo, but also like if you're attacking for lethal, if you're defending yourself from lethal, like you can, if you've got another Celis in your hand, you're like, right, okay, I'm safe against. You can wipe out a huge amount of potential things that could screw you up.
What would you do against the backup hero, the Inuo?
If I'm against Yuno or Enuo,
Because you can't do that Renoa thing.
yeah, I just won't be able to do it. Setzer and Renault wouldn't do their thing. But Steiner's still fine if he didn't dull and freeze, I think.
You mean Setzer?
No, Steiner. Steiner's still fine and he doesn't do that.
Oh, right.
Right, I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
So,
but okay, no, so yeah, that's a really cool deck.
But
we played against it and like
It's
it
pretty
is devastating.
strong.
It's a very controlled deck because he stays at 6 damage for majority of the game. Whenever I played against him anyway.
It's one of those decks that doesn't really start doing anything until the point in time where your opponent has had the opportunity to deal that much damage to you, right? Like you do little niggly things like freezing their backups to slow them down.
I am really happy with discarding 2 cards for Celis, and then freeze a backup. And it actually gives me a bit of offense as well at start. Because you don't actually want to be in a situation where you've taken 6 and they've taken none.
Yeah.
You still want to be fairly close in damage.
It's too much of an uphill climb.
Yeah, because I actually prefer to get to 5 max. My 6th damage I really don't want to take in Final Fantasy because then your opponent dictates combat entirely.
That's right. Yeah.
Is this deck also running snow? I can't remember if this one.
So
No,
I've
it
moved in
doesn't.
and out of snow. There's one you've played, Murad, doesn't have snow. Earlier versions did, and it had Mecha Chocobo as well. But I refined it more into the 6th package because I didn't have lock before.
Right.
Now with
that
locks,
you have lock.
I put in locks, and I'm putting Vayne back in because trying out all the new cards. I've taken out some of the staples of the past.
You can't take out Vayne from an ice deck. It's like I don't know.
He shuts down too many decks, especially in this new environment where we're seeing people play lots of expensive things.
Also, getting to play Mono Ice means I get to play Duke Larg, and this has pushed it to be. I used to crumble to good fire decks.
That's right.
Just because my guys were too small, but now Duke Larg pushes them into acceptability or just bigness. And Celis is an 8K. So I've been really happy with it.
She jumps up to 9, right?
But currently, I just feel like the deck's filled with good dudes rather than I don't think it's tier 1 synergy. So I'm trying to make Mono Ice tier 1. Maybe other people have already cracked it. I'm not looking at other ideas at the moment because I want to still experiment for myself, and then eventually I'll. The
core of what you have there, at least as far as I've played against it, it certainly feels like it feels the same. It's smooth as like Mono Waters feels when playing against it.
Because of the 6 package.
I think like that definitely gives it this.
I think Mono Waters ultimately better.
Strong base.
Still.
Oh well, even so, I think like the deck there is quite likely I think a Mono Ice deck that is going to be, if not dominant in the Opus IV format, I think like noticeably present in it.
I've tried another Mono Ice deck, as in I've come up with a list but haven't played it yet, that's doesn't have the 6 synergies, and I want to see how that goes as well. It focuses more on like the Mecha Chocobo and the just breaking dull things.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. I'll keep experimenting. But that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. Cool. So thanks for listening, guys. This is actually gonna be our last podcast of the year, and we're gonna be back mid-January. So subscribe to our YouTube channel. Watch out for the Reddit post and the Facebook post. Come back mid-January, and our next one, it's all about lightning. Not the lightning we're talking about, but the element lightning. Yeah. So yeah. Bye.
See ya.
Thanks for listening.
Number one potato boss out.